Good afternoon. This is James with 77 Financial Group. You're listening to 15 Minutes of Finance, where in the next 15 minutes, I bet I can get you excited about investing. Let's do it. All right. Happy Friday, everybody. We're back at it again with another 15 minutes. We have had the first green week in 6 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, a month, 4 to 6 weeks-ish. We finally have a green week, which is beautiful, okay? It's a much easier life for me if we can talk about the good stuff, right? The good stuff, the exciting stuff. But I also want to remind you, when there is a downturn, there's a great investment philosophy called buying the dip, okay? And we've had the dip for the last 6 to 8 weeks. Really exciting, great time to buy. And if you didn't, that's okay, because now you're listening and you'll learn and be ready for next time. Guys, our term of the day before we get into the news is going to be a title, actually. It is going to be the U.S. Secretary of Commerce. And that's going to come important down the road here with today's episode. But I just wanted to read a little bit about what this guy does for the government and also for businesses. And hopefully you'll never forget how important this job actually is. So the U.S. Secretary of Commerce leads the Department of Commerce and is responsible for promoting economic growth, job creation, and business development in the U.S. The role involves overseeing policies related to trade, industry, technology, and economic data. A few of his responsibilities, or her, depending upon who's in the position: economic growth and business support, trade and international business, technology and innovation, economic and market data. So think like Census Bureau and Bureau of Economic Analysis. They really help with the critical economic reports, I guess. And by critical, I mean they move markets. Like their data moves markets. What else? He or she helps with the workforce development and minority business growth. And they oversee the economic development and administration, which funds projects to boost local economies. Wow. Those are just 5 of the responsibilities. So underneath this person is the U.S. Census Bureau, the Bureau of Economic Analysis, National Institute of Standards and Technology, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, International Trade Administration, and Economic Development Administration. Okay, this very important role, right? I just want you guys to remember that when we come back, and we're going to talk about that a little later. Okay, let's read the market news. First green day, guys. First green day in a while. That brings a smile to my face. It makes it a lot easier to fall asleep at night. Like, it's a big relief off of my back here. I just, a big breath, and it feels good. So, okay, here's the news. The major stock indexes snapped their weekly losing streaks after staging a last-minute rally to close higher on Friday. The Nasdaq Composite climbed 0.5%, while the S&P 500 and Dow Jones Industrial Average both eked out gains of 0.1%. Just barely, guys. The S&P 500 and Nasdaq had declined in each of the last 4 weeks, while the Dow entered Friday's session on a 2-week losing streak. All 3 posted weekly gains: 1.2% for the Dow, 0.5% for the S&P, and 0.2% for the Nasdaq. Stocks rallied Wednesday when the Federal Reserve held interest rates steady and updated its economic outlook, which it noted had grown more uncertain despite growth remaining solid up to the present. While uncertainty about the economic impacts of tariffs still high, the rally stalled yesterday, casting doubt on whether stocks could rebound out of their correction. Buying the dip, correction period. Same thing. Shares of Nike tumbled 5.5% after the athletic apparel giant warned its sales could take a hit from its turnaround plan and President Trump's tariffs. Maybe that's because they got little kids making shoes in China. I don't know. That's just a third-party take on their policies. Where was I? I got lost here. Okay, shares of Nike tumbled 5.5% after the athletic apparel giant warned its sales could take a hit from its turnaround plan and Trump's tariffs. FedEx slumped 6.4% after disappointing investors with its quarterly results and earnings outlook. Micron stock dropped 8% despite the analog chip maker's better-than-expected quarterly report, illustrating the uphill battle tech investors face in today's antsy risk-off market. Big tech stocks were mostly higher on Friday. Tesla advanced 5.3%. Let's go, baby, to lead the Magnificent Seven. Still, the EV maker shares have lost 30% of their value in the last month, amid growing concerns about CEO Elon Musk's political involvement. Apple rose 2%, Meta added 1.8%, and Microsoft gained 1.1%. Amazon and Alphabet, Google ticked up less than 1%, and Nvidia was the laggard of the group, falling 0.7%. Treasury yields were also mixed on Friday, with long-term yields rising and short-term yields falling. The 10-year yield, sensitive to expectations for inflation and future monetary policy, ticked up to 4.26% after closing at 4.24% yesterday. Yields have fallen dramatically in the last month as investors have grown concerned tariffs could slow economic growth. Bitcoin remained under pressure and was recently trading at 83,800, down significantly from its high above 100,000 earlier this year. West Texas immediate crude oil futures were also little changed at about $68.30 a barrel, and gold dropped to $3,025 an ounce from $3,050 last night. Okay, that is the news. I real quick want to talk about Tesla. Well, you know what? Actually, let's do that. Let's capitalize on that term of the day real quick, and then we'll actually dive into Tesla. So the U.S. Secretary of Commerce, right? Very important position. You just heard all of the things that that position supervises, oversees, etc. And there was an article that came out today, or really a video, where he did an interview, and I wanted to read one of the quotes from the interview. It's conversational, so hopefully you guys can pick this up. It's not exactly well spoken, but this is how it goes. So this is him, and let me get his name real quick. I should obviously probably already know his name, but Secretary of Commerce. Let me see. It's like Lutnick or something. I'm sorry, guys. I just want to get you his whole name. Okay, it is Lutnick. All right, we're just going to run with that then. Secretary Lutnick is what we're going to go with. So this is him speaking. And he's referring to President Trump whenever he's saying him. I'm in the car with him, and I said we're going to balance the budget. We're going to get that done, Lutnick recalled. And I said, but I have one favor to ask you. If we can balance the budget for you, will you agree to waive all income tax for every person who makes less than $150,000 a year in the United States of America? Which, by the way, is about 85% of Americans. And the reason you want to work for Donald Trump is he looks at me and he goes, sure. You realize the president of the United States just said, if you balance the budget, sure. And he's not lying. He's not kidding. He's like, yeah. So obviously that was a little difficult to read, but let me summarize, right? He is in the car with the president, and he's saying, hey, we're going to work on balancing this budget for the U.S. economic budget. And if we do that, do you think you could remove income tax for everybody who makes less than 150 grand? Now, look, that's a huge ask. That's pretty ridiculous. And then obviously the president's answer is, sure, that's a fair ask. And you literally could not make this up. That is a wild response. Sure. Yeah, we'll get it done. That is an immense amount of money that just would go disappear. Well, it wouldn't disappear, but it would go into spending back into 85% of Americans' pockets because they would spend that money instead of paying it on taxes, which is exciting. But those kind of giant acts or changes or I don't even know, orders, however you want to phrase it, those take years. So I did want to bring it up just because it's exciting. And I want you guys to be excited. These are the conversations where when you hear that, your ears should perk up. Be like, oh, well, maybe that's going to be great. And look, listen to me. If you, like a lot of our listeners, you make more than $150,000 a year, you're probably like, what does that matter to me? Or maybe you make way less, but one day you'll make way more. If you're in the boat of, you're going to make more than that one day, or you currently make more than that, you should still be excited that these conversations are taking place, because that means most likely the stock market goes up. Okay, when there is more money in a consumer's hand, that usually means they consume with it, which means they buy stuff, which means your stocks go up. Okay, so it is a 1-for-1 great. Well, it's not a 1-for-1. I'm sorry. That's a 1-for-100 return, assuming this can get done. And maybe it doesn't happen until 2027, or maybe it never happens at all, right? It's going to have to go through this massive process, economic and governmental, to happen. But those are the types of conversations that I want you to get excited about, because that really is the value of having a businessman as president. Like, obviously you can say what you want about him. We're not political here. He's not the easiest person to like in the world, but hard to argue that he isn't a heck of a businessman. So when those kind of implementations get discussed, it should excite you, especially if you're trying to make money. So anyways, big important conversations about possibly paying less income tax for 85% of Americans. Exciting stuff. Whether it happens or not, we'll have to wait and see. And if it does, you'll be sure Brandon and I will deep dive into how this affects everything from A to Z. Okay, I also wanted to talk about Tesla today. This is the stock we're going to talk about for the next 4 or 5 minutes. Guys, I cannot stress enough. There is not a single company that I can think of in the history of the world that is trying to do so many service-related things. And I mean that he sells products, but it's a service. So going green, electric vehicles. That's an attempt to save the planet, supposedly, but you have your own opinions there. But it's meant to be efficient with our energy at the very least. Okay. He's trying to create power battery packs, which means you'll have energy for decades instead of just energy for months or a year or however the generators work now. He's trying to create decade-long energy capture, that's a service for a lot of people. And then then we have the robots. We've all seen iRobot, and if you haven't, go see that movie. Will Smith kills in it. That's about basically having this robotic assistant follow you around. Okay, that's a service, helping people do more do more and free up time. Okay, that's a service. And then lastly, which is the most recent one that we should get excited about, is this ride-hail robo-taxi service. Okay, I'm really excited because recently, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, I haven't slept much. I've been reading too much to even remember how much I've slept, but he just applied for a rideshare service in California to get approved. Okay, that is so exciting. If we can get robo-taxis out in the field here or out on the road in the next 18 months, this stock is going to the moon. And I don't care when it happens. Okay, maybe it doesn't happen 1-for-1, right? Robo-taxis come out next month. Maybe the stock doesn't go up right away. It will. He's providing Tesla, not he, sorry. Sometimes you don't distinguish between the two of them, but they are two different things. Elon Musk and Tesla. Tesla, they're providing so many services the services are a no-brainer. Okay. Ooh, robo-taxi, that's progress. Okay. That is capitalizing on what Uber capitalized on the cab market. Do we understand how that progress works? Let's just use that really quickly. At first it was, you'd walk places, then you rode a horse, then you got a bike, and then there was the Model T and Henry Ford and cars, and then there was cab services. Okay, and we obviously had public transit throughout all this, but it went from car to cab to now we have Uber, and now the next step logically is a robo-taxi service, is a robo-Uber. Okay, so I just want to read one quote from Elon. They had like an all hands on deck meeting last night, and there's just a really brief quote I wanted to say to him. So this is from the article. It says, Musk also talked about Tesla's autonomous driving ambitions during the meeting, saying that self-driving will unlock the company's true value. And this is his direct quote. It's very difficult for people in the stock market, especially those that look in the rear view mirror, which is 99% of investors, which is most people, to imagine a future where suddenly a 10 million vehicle fleet has 5 to 10 times the usefulness, Musk told his workers. So what I'm saying is, hang on to your stock, Musk added. Okay, so that quote briefly, 5 to 10 times the value. I think he's underplaying that. It's probably closer to 20 to 25 times. And my math on that is because those cars, it'll be like a recycled fleet. Like maybe they do 50,000 miles, then it goes in for a change, another car replaces it. It's just going to be a constant cycle. It's not like he's going to wear these cars into the ground. They're going to get immediate, intense service. It would be like getting your oil changed every time you hit 5,000 miles exactly, like right on the dot. That preserves the life of vehicles. So obviously you don't get, they don't necessarily have the same maintenance that a gasoline car would, but it's still going to prolong and extend the life. And eventually, probably not up front, because we've heard about some of these, Wayfair and these other company, Waymo or whatever it is, whatever the competitors' names are, where these cars are killing people, right? So, or they're keeping passengers rotating in a circle around a roundabout for like an hour and a half. That takes time. This is all part of that progress. So eventually this will be the safest way to ride, and the stats will show it. So now we have progress, now we have safety, and now we have maximizing the efficacy and usefulness of a company's product, which is their vehicles. So I just do not see a world outside of the wild political stuff that Tesla does not absolutely tear through a market cap ceiling. They could be the first $10 trillion company, and who knows what's after that? Who knows? Okay, so I don't know. But I do want to say a lot of our clients are invested in Tesla, and some of them invested 2.5 months ago at Tesla's high. Now, look, I believe wholeheartedly in this company, and I mean this when I say this, even though emotionally it's very difficult to say, that if the stock price went down another 50%, right, from here, which is already down like 35, 40, I would still hold on to that stock. I would still hold on to it. If the only thing about Tesla that changes is the stock price, then all people should do is buy more. If the only thing that changes is the stock price, then the value of the company stays the same, the fundamentals of the company stays the same, and the usefulness of the company stays the same. Okay? The stock price does not affect the company's productivity or usefulness or just the day-to-day operation. Okay, it doesn't. Now, the other way around does, right? So if the story changed or the fundamentals, or if they decided, hey, we're not going to do, the robots or the battery packs, we would have to really rethink our philosophy if we believe in it as much as we do. But with all of these prongs in the fire, it just doesn't make sense to not at least play the game. And that's our point of view. Again, not personal investment advice. Go do your own research. This is what I do for a living. So it's easy for me to talk about it with passion and excitement, but I want you to be excited about it too. And you should be, because you have a chance to be in, maybe you don't invest any money in Tesla, but now you're just paying a little bit closer attention to what the things that they're doing. That's exciting. It's probably going to change the world. And we didn't even talk about his Boring Company or SpaceX or Starlink, and all those things are separate than Tesla. But really, are they? It's tough to say. If he ever wanted to, he really could. Or Twitter, by the way, if he really wanted to, he could try to wrap all of these things up into one company. But he probably never will, because there might be some moral questions to do that. Anyways, guys, that's our take today. I want you to get excited about Tesla, and I will let you know the second I get into a robo Tesla. I'll let you know. I can't wait. And it scares me a little bit. It scares me a little bit, but I'm going to try it at least. I mean, how do you not try it? That would be way too exciting, especially with being invested after all these years. All right, guys, that is it for me. As always, invest early, invest often. Have a great day.